Okay, one of the thing you're going to run into on this is, since we've already disabled the airbags, you're not going to be able to put it in neutral. So you can get a shot on this, Mino. I'm going to see if I can get my fat behind inside this car here. This is why I like pulling the seats out. Makes life a whole lot easier. Now, with the battery disconnected, you can't take the gear shift lever out of park. So you've got this little tiny plug right here that is right there. And your best tool for that is a pick, cheaply available at Harbor Freight. And you pop that pick out. Of course, we've already got the parking brake set. And you press down on the little lever, and then theoretically you press it down far enough and you can get it out of park. And that's how you do that, but save that so you don't lose it. Okay, your next step is going to be taking this top plastic piece off. Best way to go about doing that is to start it from under here and gradually finagle the plastic along the side here. You'll see there are little tabs there that catch it, and then it will lift up and out, and that will get you clear of all this. And then there's another, you'll see two more bolts down in there, 7mm, one here and one there, that will here you go, son. That should do it. You can put the ratchet in the side there if it doesn't work for you there. While he's doing that, you'll notice down in there is the airbag module. One of the many black boxes that Big Brother can look at after you've had an accident. So, you know, between that and reading the records off your cell phone, you know, any idiots who drive down the road texting and cause an accident, you know, they're pretty much going to get caught now. So, and then voila, out she comes. Now you can take a little finagling, but she'll come right on out. Just watch out for all the sticky soda and residue and all that other stuff. Okay, the next step, now that we have the console out, is we have to remove the gear shift lever. And gear shift lever is held in by pennies and 4 10mm nuts. Now, there's 2 on this side, 2 on this side. Now, what we have to do, though, to successfully remove these is we're going to have to, normally we would have to disconnect all the electrical stuff and the cable. Get that out of there, because what's going to happen is this instrument panel is going to have to come way out to get out the door. It's part of all this new cab forward design, so we'll go on from there. And then the next thing we're going to have to do is we're going to have to remove the airbag module. That looks like about a T43 Torx right there. And the next couple of steps after that, you got the A-pillar trim that has to come out, scuff plate, and the cowl panel trim that'll come out next. And then we'll start working on the steering wheel and the steering column. That has to come out as well. So onward. Okay, so we've gotten the airbag module out, we've removed the gear shift lever, and though the documentation doesn't call for it, or at least we haven't seen it yet, we went ahead and undid the parking brake lever and laid it off to the side. That's just so you don't have, you got one less thing jabbing you in the gut when you're in here farting around working with the instrument panel. So, all right, so now what we're doing is, according to the shop manual, you have to unhook all your bulkhead connectors on both sides. You got them over here, got them over there, down there by the kick panel, and your radio antenna is there also. Then you have to open the glove box all the way and pop it past its stops so it flops down, so you can reach inside there and disconnect the connector off of the evaporator box. And then we have to disconnect the lower steering column, or the upper steering column shaft from the lower steering column shaft. Disconnect all the electricals from the steering assembly, and I'm just going to drop this whole steering wheel out. They talk about removing the steering wheel. You know, it's just as easy to undo this and 4 bolts and the whole thing comes out. That way you're not screwing with the airbag and the trim and messing anything up. It takes a few minutes longer, but it makes for a prettier job. And then there's 1 bolt going down through the top of the dash up there. Has a little cover on it. You want to be careful with that so you don't crack your windshield. Then a few bolts here on each side, and then this whole assembly is going to pop out. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. Next shot I'll have this out, and we'll be getting ready to pull the whole panel out. Alright, so now we have our instrument panel completely out, and what we're after is that big box in the middle. So what happens now is we have to disconnect the well, there's no Freon in the system, so we don't have to worry about that, but disconnect the 2 heater hoses on the outside, and there's 1 or 2 bolts from the outside of the firewall going in that holds that box in place. And then we'll take that whole center box out, and we'll have to split that box apart and put a new evaporator in there. Now Ford says that that the box is not serviceable and you have to buy a whole new box, probably for like $11 zillion, but the aftermarket will sell separate heater cores and evaporator cores. So we're on to the next step of the process. And this is going to be one of those parts of a project where having the right tool for the job really makes a huge difference. Now, most of your cars now, for their heater hoses, and for the most part even radiator hoses, have these little spring clamps that hold them on instead of the old-fashioned screw type clamps, which I happen to like better, but engineers think they're adequate. So, but getting one of them off, you know, is a royal pain. So, especially when the 2 heater hoses are down at the very bottom of the firewall. So that's why you have one of these. You'll reach in there and grab that clamp and compress and lock and hold it. This tool here comes from France, sold by Craftsman, and that's probably one of the best hand tools I've ever purchased. So that's going to make getting these heater hoses off of this AC evaporator box a whole lot nicer a job than it could possibly be, and save us probably about half hour, 45 minutes worth of time. So on we go. Okay, so I've gotten the 2 heater hoses off, and there are two studs that come through from that box down there that you have to get, and then you have to unhook the 2 AC lines from the expansion valve, and that'll be everything from the outside of the vehicle that has to be undone. And now we'll go to the inside and pull that box assembly out, and next step will be breaking that box down and putting the new evaporator core in it. So if you ever have any questions as to why working on the air conditioning costs so much, that's why. There's the instrument panel there, completely removed from the car. The steering wheel, steering column there, gear shift, everything out inside. It's a heck of a lot of work. So anyway, on to the next phase. Alright, so we've got the box out of the car now, and looking kind of naked in there, isn't it? So we got pretty much everything's out of there. That's what has to happen in order to fix one of these. So if you're ever buying a car and they tell you, oh, the air just needs charging up a little bit, you either run the other way or tell them, tell you what, you know, you fix it and then we'll talk. And fix it like put a new evaporator core in it with proof that it was done, not just charged up. When you drive it away 2 days later, it's out of Freon again. So anyway, what we're gonna have to do now is we're gonna have to open this box up and replace the evaporator core, which is right in here basically. So, and it's probably why Ford doesn't service it as the evaporator by itself. They want you to buy the whole box. So it's gonna be a little bit of a pain, but we'll get through it.